dive into an absurd account of outrageous entitlement, extreme drama, and one front desk agent's struggle to uphold customer service against the onslaught of Karens in this world. Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today we have one story for you from the Tales from the Front Desk subreddit about a Karen and her husband, and you're going to love it. Let's jump right in. This story comes to us from Other Cantaloupe 4765. Mega Karen, the entitled witch who screamed at me about her rights, insulted me, and then started recording me when I told her to get out. This one's a doozy. Buckle up, it's going to be a long story, but it's worth the read. We'll call the woman Karen and her husband Kent. Let me just give you a mental image of these people. Kent looks like the average middle-aged guy. T-shirt, jeans, old tennis shoes. Karen is the pinnacle of all that's ever been categorized as a Karen. Her foundation was way too dark and orange for her skin tone. Her hair was thin and bleached blonde, and she had some kind of crackhead pigtails thing going on. She obviously had done Botox and gotten a lot of fillers in her cheeks. She's also middle-aged, kinda like Dolly Parton's face, except a bit narrower and with Donald Trump's complexion, caked in orange foundation, and hair color. Okay, I'd already dealt with one entitled woman who yelled at me during that shift, so I wasn't having the greatest day, but I was just taking it in stride, until Karen and her husband Kent came in. Kent was the one who came to the desk. He was a walk-in, and it was Memorial Day weekend with 3 rooms left to sell. 1 double room on the first floor, and 2 suites on the upper floor. Kent talked over me and opted for the double, which was $10 cheaper than a suite. But it was also a pet room on the ground floor, our pet-friendly floor, while 2 and 3 were pet-free. I tried to tell him all the standard stuff, but he was like, yeah, I just want the room, and wouldn't listen. So, whatever, here's your key. He goes to his room with Karen and everything is great, for about 20 minutes. Kent comes back out and says he can hear someone's dog occasionally barking. Okay, I get it. Listening to a barking dog is annoying AF. People aren't supposed to leave their pets in the room alone anyway. I apologized and said I'd call the guest and see what I could do. I offered to move him to another room on the upper floors, and he said, no, we're not moving. We shouldn't have to. People with dogs should have to move. Everyone has dogs down that hallway. Can't you move them all to the other end of the hall? For a second, I thought he was joking. No, he was not. Holy entitled Batman. No, I can't, and I won't. I told him I'd do what I could to get a hold of the guest who owned the dog. He went back to his room and came out 5 minutes later to ask if I'd done anything. Mind you, the dog had stopped barking at this point. I said I couldn't get a hold of the guest, and I again offered him another room. He said, no, I told you we're not moving. They have to move. Whatever. He goes back to his room. 15 minutes later, he comes back out with Karen. Karen says, okay, this is ridiculous. We didn't pay to hear someone's dog moving around and making noise. You need to tell people that there are dogs in here. It's a pet-friendly hotel. Well, you need to tell people that. It's on the big sign outside. It's on our website. There are signs about dogs on the walls around the hotel, and it was written on the paper you signed and initialed when you checked in. Well, they shouldn't be prioritized over people. She stared at me like she was waiting for me to say something, but I don't effing know what she expected me to say. I just shrugged and said, it's a pet-friendly hotel. Okay, but we're people, and we paid to stay here. So did the guests with pets. They paid for a room and paid the pet fee to stay here. We have rights, and we are your priority, not people with dogs. People are prioritized over animals. Yeah, well, pet owners have rights too. Aren't you a snobby effing bee? Get smart-mouthed with me like you're not supposed to be prioritizing us over animals? You can stop with the smart-mouthed bitchy attitude right now. And you can leave. Now. Oh my gosh, the look that flashed across her face as she spluttered in surprise for a second was priceless. No, we aren't leaving. Get out now. No, give us the other room. No, get out now. But you just offered us another room. I did. And then you got nasty and started screaming and insulting me. So now I'm telling you to leave. Go. No, you're going to give us the other room. If you don't leave, I will call the police and have you escorted off the property. And then F. This is the part that makes me so effing pissed. I swear my soul momentarily left my body to make room for the sheer rage that coursed through me. This B whipped out her phone to record me, which is illegal in my state. Give us the room. Get out. Are you recording me? Yes, that's what you get when you're a snobby little bee. She was so happy with herself, like she's some kind of effing genius, dealing out some groundbreaking vigilante justice to her cruel oppressors. I can call my manager or call the cops. Pick one or get out. At that point, Karen went effing berserk and just started screaming and screeching until her orange face turned red. Screaming about how they should be prioritized, and I'm such an effing bee, smart mouth, snotty, snobby, butthole, and they were getting that room, blah blah blah. Tons of insults and crap. My brain was kinda like, yeah, F this crap. So I was standing behind the desk calmly and sarcastically saying, yep, sure, yep, as she was screaming at me. I reiterated her choices. She demanded my name and my manager. What a surprising turn of events. I cheerfully said, I'll write it down for you, but that didn't stop her from demanding I tell her my name 1,000,000 times. My guess is she wanted me to say it on video. Kent told me to go call your manager. I went back to the office, shut the door, called my manager, and just burst into tears as soon as she picked up. All the stress and emotion I'd held in to keep it together just came out behind closed doors. I said I needed her to come in. I could barely explain why. Just, there are these two C's at the desk screaming at me and recording. Okay, it's okay. Let me get dressed and I'll be right in. I tried to stop crying and pull it together before opening the door. I stopped for a second and heard Karen telling another family that came in what a total bee I was. I opened the door and said, okay, she's on her way. Have a seat. When will she be here? Soon. Have a seat. We are not going any. I said, have a seat. She stopped talking and jerked her head back and said, you really do have a snobby bee attitude problem, don't you? They went back to their room. The family that witnessed the tail end of it just looked at me like I was a piece of crap whenever they saw me for the rest of their stay. My manager came in and I was just in hysterics, crying and couldn't breathe to tell her what happened. I managed to grind out the beginning of it before Karen comes out to the desk. Your employee refused us a room. Really? Because from what I heard, you refused a room that she offered to you. But then we wanted it and she said no. That's what happens when you yell at my front desk agents. She was yelling at us. I have video. Yes, she said you were recording her, which I'm not okay with. I don't care if you have a video. Why don't you come around the desk to talk to us? No, talk to me across the desk. You're being very rude. Just come around the desk to talk to us. This desk is between us for my protection. I don't know what you'll do. Karen huffed and shoved her phone in the manager's face to show her the video. I was back in the office, but from what I heard, the face she made when she realized she hadn't actually been recording the entire time and only got about 30 seconds where she's yelling and I'm saying, yep, it must have been effing priceless. My manager eventually gave them another room, which I was pissed AF about. Why reward them for their bad behavior? This is why they act this way in the first place. Nobody tells them no. Karen was a total C. Why does she get to stay? At least my manager told them that they were not to bother me, not to speak to me, not to harass me like that. You can have the room, but you don't bother my front desk agent again. They kept their side of it apparently. My manager hung around until they were in the new room and my Atvian was kicking in. I didn't hear another word from them, didn't see them again for the rest of the night. But they needed some kind of slap on the wrist out of the ordeal at the very least. I was pissed they were staying. So before I went home, I set up a few wake-up calls for their room. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and 4 a.m. I'm told she didn't say a thing about it. Effin' Karen. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called GreenSeat8152. It says, they should have been kicked out. Your manager is the reason why guests act like jerks to FDA because they know they will eventually get their way. This sucks for you. I'm glad I'm NA. I don't deal with calling managers. Piss me off, don't follow the rules, I call the police. It is rare, and I give a few chances to go quietly to their room. They don't listen and start yelling at me, they are gone. I don't get paid enough to be screamed at like that. I definitely have to agree with this commenter, and the whole situation at that hotel seems a little bit effed up from my perspective. The manager let them stay after they berated the front desk agent. That, to me, is unacceptable. Like, if OP told us what chain this was and where it was, I would never stay in that hotel because that management style is absolute crap. I don't know, I think a DNR should have been given out in this case. I feel like that couple shouldn't be allowed to get a room in any of the hotels that this particular chain owns. But I'd like to hear your guys' comments on that one, so comment down below. Do you think Karen should have been allowed to stay the night with their husband there? Or do you think they should have been booted out, police called, and all that stuff? Because I'm definitely on the latter side of that one. I think the police should have been called, they should have been removed, and never allowed back into that chain again. Gosh, these Karen stories piss me off. Check out OP linked in the description down below. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.